The Big Hot Story! Hi, TruWonder. My name is Kelsey, and it's time for the Big God Story. Oh, friends, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to summertime. And one of my favorite things to do in the summer is to go to Lake Michigan. What kind of animals live in the lake? What kind of animals live in the sea? That's right, fish. Well, did you know that there are fishermen in the Bible? The fishermen we're going to hear about today caught fish in the sea. Jesus, when he grew up, spent time traveling in the area, and he lived and taught people about God. Well, one day, many people came to the shore of the Sea of Galilee to hear Jesus teach. There was a really big crowd, and Jesus needed to make a place to stand to share his teaching. So he wanted to make sure everyone could see him. Over to the side, he saw a boat. The boat belonged to a man named Peter. Jesus got into the boat and he asked Peter to push the boat away so that everyone could hear him. This worked really well because Jesus could teach from the boat and everyone on the shore would be able to hear him. When Jesus finished teaching, he talked to Peter. Peter was a fisherman. Peter told Jesus that even though he was out all night with the other fishermen, they didn't catch any fish. Have you guys ever done that before, where you've gone fishing and not caught any fish? It doesn't feel good, does it? Well, Jesus told Peter to throw his nets back into the deep water. Jesus wanted Peter to see that he isn't like anyone or anything. Jesus wanted Peter to know that he is worth following. Well, Peter agreed to try it, even though no one had caught a single fish the whole night. So Peter and the other fishermen did just what Jesus asked. They took the boat out to the really deep water and they threw their nets in. The nets went into the water, and what do you think happened? The nets filled with fish. The nets kept getting heavier and heavier. The nets were so full of fish that they started to break. But guess what happened next? Peter's fishing partners brought their boat out and they started to fill it up with fish. And so many fish were in the boat that the boat started to sink. That is a miracle. Jesus performed that miracle for Peter and the other fishermen. And then Peter fell to his knees in front of Jesus because he knew that Jesus isn't like anyone else. Jesus is worth following. Falling to his knees was a way to worship Jesus. And right then, Jesus told Peter and the other fishermen that they would no longer catch fish, but they would catch and fish for people. What do you think that means? Fishing for people meant that they would go and share the good news of Jesus with others. They were going to help bring men and women to God instead of bringing fish into their boats. Peter and his fishing partners made a choice to go and be with Jesus that day. They chose to serve Jesus with their whole lives. They left everything so that they could follow him. After Jesus performed the miracle on the boats, the men knew that Jesus is worth following. And I have more good news for you guys. We can choose to follow Jesus too. Jesus is God, and we can follow him by obeying his words and trusting him, and that is good news. That's wonderful news. When we choose to follow Jesus, he will show us ways to serve others and to love others, just like the fishermen did. Jesus is worth following. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next week for the Big God Story. Goodbye.